fellow commanders. This is Catogenesis. This may come as a surprise, but I have been a huge XCOM fan ever since UFO Defense, so it is my pleasure to bring you a guide for the newest XCOM installment, Enemy Within. Discovering your first canister of meld on the battlefield opens up the possibility of genetically or cybernetically altering your soldiers for that extra edge, with superhuman abilities to complement whatever role they play in combat. Soldiers can switch these out at any time via the genetics lab, unlike mech abilities which are permanent when chosen. Starting with the legs, we have muscle fiber density. This gives your soldiers superhuman leg strength, and is unlocked by the Thin Man Autopsy. Soldiers with this ability can quite literally soar to new heights, allowing you to even find new vantage points to take out your enemy in style. The second leg mod is Adaptive Bone Marrow. This mod is readily available as soon as you research Meld itself. This mod dramatically reduces recovery time and lets your soldiers regenerate 2 health per turn if it falls below their unmodified maximum. In other words, their health without armor. This is extremely helpful early in the game. Next is the skin mods. We begin with Bioelectric Skin. This lets soldiers detect enemies nearby without alerting them, and can be unlocked with the Chrysalid Autopsy. On top of being immune to strangulation, nearby enemies that are not in line of sight will show up as blips on the screen near this soldier. Say there's enemies on the rooftop of the building you're in. You can now sense their location and proceed to flank them accordingly. The second skin mod is Mimetic Skin. This lets your soldiers change their skin pattern to match their cover, basically like a chameleon would, and this will become available after an autopsy on a seeker is performed. Mimetic Skin has numerous conditions to work properly. One is it will only work in full cover. To activate this, enemies cannot see your starting location, and secondly, it can be broken similar to Ghost Mode when it comes to attacking and reaction shots, but is not broken when using helpful equipment, like combat stims and medkits. Yes, it's this complex. If this soldier goes into camouflage mode and moves into line of sight of an enemy, and they try to move again, their cover will be blown. Attacking while camouflaged will give you a substantial bonus to your critical strike chance. If you wish to remain hidden instead, it would be best to hunker down or skip this unit's turn. High-ranking snipers gain the ability to make partial cover full, and this does apply to Mimetic Skin's ability. This lets snipers blend in almost anywhere. Now onto the gene mods located in the soldier's chest. The first available is the Secondary Heart. This does pretty much what you would expect a secondary heart to do, and is made available after the Cyberdisk Autopsy. For soldiers that have the high chance of death, instead of dying immediately when they are gunned down, they default to a 5-turn stabilized timer, instead of 3 turns. They will also suffer 0 loss of will. The second gene mod for the chest is Adrenal Neurosympathy, that states when this soldier kills something, nearby squad mates receive an offensive benefit, similar to a Muton's Blood Call, and naturally unlocked by the Muton Autopsy. Say you're playing Shotgun Assault with this soldier. He ends a floater at point blank and creates a cool little shockwave of pheromones apparently, signifying all nearby units receive bonuses to aim, crit chance, and movement, nearby being about 10 to 15 tiles away. Next 2 gene mods are for the eyes. Both of these mods come unlocked automatically, after researching Meld of course. First is Hyperreactive Pupils. This causes your soldier to compensate much quicker after they miss, and you'll know when it's active when you see an overlay of an eye darting back and forth. Great for soldiers suffering in the aim department. The other gene mod for the eyes is just as simple as the first, and states that height advantage confers an additional +5 to aim and +5 to critical chance. And as stated before, this is available as soon as you have a soldier to modify. This mod also gets a really cool overlay whenever you're aiming at an enemy with a height advantage against them. The last 2 gene mods are for the brain. The first one being Neural Damping, which gives your soldier a 20 will bonus when defending against psi attacks, as well as immunity to panic. This mod is opened up after a Berserker Autopsy. The main selling point for this gene mod is not just the bonuses mentioned, but how it affects soldiers that are mind controlled. It will block any mind control attempt and stun that soldier for a turn instead. Great for those with a low will to begin with. The second mod for the brain, and last in this guide, is Neural Feedback. Similar to the Secondary Heart, does exactly what it sounds like. It causes damage to psi attackers and can be utilized after an autopsy on a sectoid commander. If there is a panic, mind control, or mind fray attempt on this soldier, it may not prevent the effects, but it will cause damage to the enemy that used it on you. I'm not quite sure what determines the damage on this, but as you can see, it's a pretty sizable amount. Definitely a high risk, high reward ability, and there's your reference to all of the gene mods. And now the choice is yours. Will you have a heavy soldier that just won't die and has the ability to camouflage? Or a support unit that leaps to the rooftops to provide covering fire and smoke grenades? I'd love to hear your discoveries in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and humanity's survival depends on you. Good luck, Commanders.